Well, 3 years ago, Governor J.B. Pritzker issuing that stay-at-home order, and that impacted businesses across the state and lasted for about 2+ months, and then things were opening up slowly, and then there were a lot of federal tax dollars that were being offered to help these businesses get back to business, and we've seen several rounds of back-to-business grants to impact businesses in a positive fashion to keep them going, and another round has been announced. And to join us to talk more about this and how you as a small business owner can access these funds, Mike Murphy, the president of the Springfield Chamber of Commerce, joining us. Mike, thanks for taking time. We've got a big announcement here. Yesterday, the governor announcing $175 million. What's going on here?
Yeah, Greg, as you said, the state's been involved in trying to help. I think they've given out like $535 million over the last few years to some businesses. But, you mentioned it was closed for 2 months, but there were still businesses that were impacted much longer than that.
I remember tracking all of the phased-in opening where a restaurant could only have like 25% capacity, 50% capacity, and that type of thing.
And so there's stuff that just now recovering. And so what the states decided to do, they had some of that federal money that the federal government gave all the different states to help businesses come out of COVID. And so they put $175 million away, and they're targeting 3 specific groups of businesses, restaurants, the hospitality industry, the arts and culture. And
these really were some of the businesses
just now
impacted
back
the most.
Yeah, some of those are just now really I would say 2023 is their first normal year since 2019.
Sure.
And then hotels, because the hotels industry was just crippled during that. The travel was just stopped, and so
and conventions weren't happening because you didn't want to have a whole bunch of people in one place.
And some of those are getting back to normal now, but I think anybody who goes around to some of our hotels or our other places knows that they're just barely starting back up, and there's some work that needs to be done because they went 2 years with relatively little or no income.
No question.
And so these grants came about, and so they was announced Wednesday. A couple things I want to let people know. You cannot go and apply yet. The grant period starts April 5th. And will run till May 10th.
So the window to apply starts April 5th. And it closes May 10th.
May 10th, exactly. And there's so much information, and there's a lot of questions. Does my business qualify? Does it not? And there are some stipulations there. We can, if we have time, we can go over some of those. But I really want to let people know. The first thing they need to do is go to illinois.gov / the letter B, the number 2, the letter B. So it's illinois.gov / B2B. And you will find a lot of information there. But one thing you can do there is sign up for some webinars. And the first webinar is actually today at 10 o'clock. Then we have one scheduled for March 30th at 10 o'clock, and then one April 6th at 2 o'clock. And so, go to that website, once again, at illinois.gov / B2B, and you can learn more about it. If we got a second, I can tell you some of the things. Like on the creative arts, the application period starts the 5th. The grants will range from $5,000 to $250,000, open to businesses and nonprofits that are live venue operators, performing or presenting arts education, museums, movie theaters, or cultural heritage organizations. And so, that's a lot of groups, and you might feel like, well, we do part of that, and so you need to find out if you actually qualify. And then all 3 of these grants have different eligibilities, and that's where it gets a little confusing. You might hear that if you were a restaurant, that if you received some state grants like the BIG or the original B2B, you're not eligible. Well, that's not the case in regards to creative arts and hotels. You could receive those and still be eligible. So each group has different eligibility standards.
And again, you've got several different webinars. One is happening today,
Exactly.
and that's going to be available by registering at the website illinois.gov/B2B. But you've also got another one that's coming up Thursday, March 30th, and then Thursday, April 6th as well. And the grants are ranging from $5,000 to $50,000 for restaurants, $1,500 per room for hotels, and arts and cultural centers, they can get up to $5,000 to $250,000.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this obviously is a lot of money. And some of the examples the state gives here in their news release, Mike, is for the restaurants, of course, taverns, bars, caterers, breweries, wineries, food trucks, and then for performing arts centers, you've got theaters, museums, cultural and heritage organizations. So a lot of different things people need to know about if they're going to be applying for this.
One thing, on the hotels, they mention our hotels, motels, inns, lodging sites, but short-term rentals, like the VRBOs and those things, they're not eligible. And so, that's why you need to know. You need to go to that. One thing, I mentioned to you earlier, off air, is there's 100 what they call community navigators.
Yep.
And these have been people designed to go to. We don't have all the answers, but we can point you in the right direction. And I happen to be one of those community navigators. And so feel free to reach out to me at the chamber as well. My email is mmurphy@gscc.org. So that's mmurphy@gscc.org, or give me a call, 217-525-1173. My extension is 205. And, I can point you in the right direction. Please be patient if you call and you have a really a question that's going to take some research. I might not know that immediately, but I promise I will get an answer for you.
So we're talking with Mike Murphy. He is the president of the Springfield Chamber of Commerce. Of course, the chamber being an excellent resource for businesses to be plugged into this type of information and other information. So obviously $175 million. These are their tax dollars that they're going to be getting back, right? I mean,
right.
It's
exactly. I'm not sure if in my old job, if I would have completely agreed on how to use these funds, but I've always said once the funds are established, you're going to use them. Let's take advantage of them and figure out. And I will say these three particular industries need some help. We went to a movie and we realized this was the first movie we went to since 2019.
Yeah, that's incredible.
One thing, you get out of the habit of it, Greg.
Sure. Yeah.
We weren't great moviegoers in the past, but we would go every couple months, and then COVID comes, you don't go for 2-3 years, and you just get out of the habit of it. And so these businesses are still struggling.
And again, get all the details you need. You can call the Springfield Chamber of Commerce, talk with Mike Murphy as a community navigator for the Back to Business grants, and the window to apply opening up April 5th. It closes May 10th. All right, so that's a good
5 weeks.
5 weeks to actually get your application in, and of course the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce and Mike Murphy can help you get all that in line to make sure that you are eligible and to get the application where it needs to go. But also don't forget, if you go to illinois.gov/B2B, you can find out more about the webinars that are going to be taking
Exactly.
place.
I think those are going to be great resources, Greg.
So make sure to make that happen. One of those webinars happening today. Mike Murphy, Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce. Always good to see you, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Yep. Hey, remember, if you're looking for a job, we got the job fair coming up March 29th at the Crown Plaza from 4 to 6. We got over 60 employers there ready and willing to give you a job. So come out, and we'll help you out there as well.
Fantastic. Good stuff. All right. Greatly appreciated. We'll talk again soon. It's now 8:20 on WMA.